Hi, I am Athena, aka Olympus Athens, and this is Danny, aka Dr. Zaius from Geeks of Doom, sometimes moonlighting with the Lasser cast. And today we are going to talk to you about this happy little movie called The Devil All the Time. Written and directed by Antonio Campos and based on a book by Donald Ray Pollack, who was also the narrator. Danny, I'm not a movie person. I like to watch TV. I like to read books. But I wanted to see this movie. And when it came out around in the summer sometime, I was like, oh, Danny, Spider-Man and the Winter Soldier and Edward and
Future Batman.
And Pennywise is in this movie. Oh, and Dudley Dursley is in this movie. We have to go. I want to see it. And we just never were able to sit down and see it. So this past weekend, we were like, oh, let's watch it.
This past weekend, on our anniversary,
Yes.
our 11th wedding anniversary,
Yes.
we decided to sit down and watch this movie. Because that's what couples that have been together for 11 years, well, 13 years, but married 11, that's what they watch on their anniversary. They watch happy movies like The Devil All the Time.
So I will say, before I even say anything about what this movie is about, if anybody has ever seen The Good Girl with Jennifer Aniston and John C. Reilly and Jake Gyllenhaal, it's got that mood and that tone throughout the whole movie. So if you haven't seen it, spoilers. And now let's tell them a little bit about this movie, Danny.
Tell them about the movie. A lot of bad stuff happens to a lot of bad people for a very long time, over multiple generations.
Yes.
And it's narrated by the writer of the book, so it makes you feel like you are actually reading the book.
Which is probably why I liked it a little better than you.
Yeah, I watch movies to not read books. In fact, I've read a lot of books this year, and by read, I mean listen to them on Audible. So I felt like I was being read a book. So this is what I started doing in the middle of the movie. I started Googling, for fun, longest movies ever made. And here's what I got.
Wait, this movie's runtime was
2 hours and what, 18 minutes?
18 minutes, yeah.
So 2 hours and 18 minutes.
It's not the
which
worst
is, no,
length.
It's actually shorter than most of the superhero movies that these actors have been in. I started Googling longest movies ever made. Logistics. Logistics is a Swedish experimental film from 2012, directed by Daniel Anderson and Erika Magnusson, in which, according to IMDb, it covers the production cycle of a pedometer in reverse chronological order. That movie went on for 35 days and 17 hours, 857 hours. And I think I would rather watch that, given the chance, than to watch this movie again. According to Hollywood, the uncut version of Cleopatra from 1963 with Elizabeth Taylor, I believe, in the lead role, because, a white actress playing an African queen, 248 minutes, over 4 hours long. I would rather watch that movie than watch this movie again. We paused this movie in the middle, and it said that there was over an hour left, and I went, really?
So I didn't hate it. I didn't. I thought it was long, and I thought it was very depressing. And I was actually hoping for a different ending, and I will, spoiler, tell you the ending at the end, so don't watch it if you really do want to watch this. But the whole story is based around a boy named Arvin, who really has a pretty shitty life. His dad, played by Bill Skarsgard, who actually I thought was really great in this movie. He played this tortured vet who was really into God and his family, and he played him very well. Yeah. And he was hard on his son.
Crucifixion plays a big part of this movie.
Religion is very big.
I think I might rather get crucified than watch this movie again. Other things that I'd rather do than watch this movie again.
People and animals are crucified in this movie.
Yeah, so if you're not into that, yeah, I know a huge trigger for people is like you could watch like Leatherface chainsaw people in half, and the second an animal gets killed, you're like, fuck this movie, I'm done. Well, this movie has animal death, so just be wary of that. I get what the movie was going for. All me being facetious and me joking around. I get what the movie is going for. It's based on a book. It's one of these period piece, kind of old Southern dramas.
Tom Holland does an excellent accent for a British guy. Much better than James Marsden in The Stand.
And Robert Pattinson does an accent. And our doorbell is ringing, so I'll go get that. You keep talking, because you like the movie more.
I did like the movie more. So, Willard, who is the father, he like settles down and he gets married, and he and his wife have a son, Arvin. Soon after, the mother dies of cancer. No matter how much Willard prays to God, he believes that God can save her, and makes Arvin pray with him, like scream to God at this cross that Willard had put in the woods. She dies anyway. Then the father, right before she dies, he crucified Arvin's dog as a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. So after all that, then Willard kills himself, leaving poor Arvin all alone to go live with his grandmother.
Are you running to your Netflix yet?
Yes.
Do you have your remote in your hand ready to press play yet? Has this movie... because the smiles, they keep coming.
So Arvin is raised by his grandmother, and he lives with his grandmother, his uncle, and his stepsister, who happens to just be her parents, not even related. The father, played by Dudley Dursley, Lenora, the girl, was played by Dudley Dursley, was like this crazy priest and killed Lenora's mother because he wanted to resurrect her.
Yeah.
And so then that didn't happen.
Oh, but wait.
There's more.
There's more. He then, not realizing that I can't resurrect the wife I just stabbed in the neck, he ends up getting in a car with a pair of
serial killers.
He ends up hitchhiking with Jason Clarke and Riley Keough, who play serial killers who pick up young men, and in like this weird sexual thing, they bring the man out and they have him pose naked with Riley Keough in sexual ways before Jason Clarke kills them. So you have the serial killers, you have the step siblings brought together by murder suicides of their families. I was laughing the whole movie. This is a real feel-good family film.
So when the kids grow up, they go to church, and there's a new preacher, played by Robert Pattinson. And this preacher preys on young girls, and he preys on young Lenora.
Just in case you thought it was going to get really fun and exciting, now we have religious, basically rape, and...
well, she was very willing.
She
thought she was giving herself to God.
Yes.
That's how... But then she became pregnant. And when she told him...
Just guess what happens to her. Take 3 seconds. And based on what we've told you, take one guess what happens to her. By the way, we're spoiling this movie now. I can't help myself, because if I don't talk about it, it would make me want to do the things in this movie. So, what do you think happens to her? 3, 2, 1. That's right. She hangs herself in a barn.
Actually, she tried not to hang herself
at the
last minute.
Funny story. Tripped. She changes her mind, but trips off the bucket and dies anyway.
And the reason why she did this, what she was thinking about doing this, is when she went to tell Robert Pattinson, the preacher, that she was pregnant, he said she was crazy and delirious and that it never happened. And he doesn't know what she's talking about.
So I think you want to mention something about the ending, so we'll give you one last spoiler warning for the very end of the film. I'm just going to give my summary. I gave it begrudgingly 2 stars.
I think I would give it 3.
You could follow me at Dr. Zayish, doesn't stand for God. It stands for Geeks of Doom. On the Stardust app. And I gave it 2 stars there. And the 2 stars are for the acting. These are good actors. And
They're acting well.
And they're acting well. They're just acting well in a miserable, long, and boring film. I like movies where there's characters that you actually can get behind and root for. And there's none of them in this movie for me. So you can bring up what you wanted to do about the ending. But...
Okay, so the movie did keep me wanting to know what was going to happen next and how all the characters connected. And they did. They managed to connect everything. And I did love the actors. We didn't even mention Bucky, who played the deputy. He was the brother of one of the serial killers, and he was corrupt, and he shot a bunch of people too. But that's it. At the end, Arvin finally, he kills the preacher, and then he ends up killing the deputy because he came after him, because he killed the serial killers, because he got picked up by the serial killers. And then the brother was after him, so he killed him, and he finally got away, and he was just in this van falling asleep next to some hippie, and that was it. And I turned to Danny and I said, and he finished my sentence, I said, wouldn't this movie have ended so much better if the driver was...
Charles Manson?
Yes. And if that had happened, I think the movie would have been like,
At that point, it would have, it's the literal ending. So descending into parody, you can't descend into parody literally before the credits roll. But to me, I described this movie to you as it felt like somebody was giving me an Indian burn for 2 hours and 18 minutes and asking me, are you crying yet? Are you crying yet?
I'm a crier. I did not cry.
And the only other time I felt this way about a movie, and this might be a very controversial opinion because the movie won Best Freaking Picture at the Oscars, was $1 Million Baby. I felt like that was the most pandering piece of crap movie with good performances, but it was just like, if you describe the plot of that movie to somebody would be like, oh, really? Well, what, really? And that's what this movie was. It was just like, how can we make you more miserable now? Oh, we haven't raped anybody yet. Oh, we haven't done a double murder suicide. We haven't done an accidental suicide. We haven't had pregnant women die. We haven't had pets die.
It's a little better than he's saying. Anyway, that's it. Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson and everybody, please forgive me. I still love you.
I'm going to go watch Logistics, the Swedish movie that took 35 days to watch. That's going to take me 36 days to watch. Logistics. It's about a pedometer.
And that's it. Bye.